Hello and welcome to the College Essay Guy Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Jenny and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on our website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/collegeessayguy. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, Gonzaga University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha. I am an admission counselor at Gonzaga, and I'm going to pull up my presentation really quick. I am also an alumni from Gonzaga, so I graduated in 2020 with my undergraduate degree in communication and political science, and then this year with my master's. So any pre-COVID questions you have as far as campus life, I can answer, and I can also answer questions from this side of the desk as well. So once again, my name is Sam. I'm with Gonzaga University. This photo is a photo of our campus. Bottom half of the screen is College Hall. So that's where a lot of classes your first year will be. And then up to the upper right is downtown Spokane. We have 5 different academic programs that our students can study under. So the first is the College of Arts and Sciences. So College of Arts and Sciences is in that really big brick building that you saw, College Hall. Home to the largest range of majors. So this is home to our majors in the humanities. So our philosophy, our English majors, history majors, all the way to social sciences. So women and gender studies, communication, political science, sociology, psychology, even our natural sciences are included in this. So biology, chemistry, all the way to our arts. So our theater, dance, and art majors. We actually graduated our first class of dance majors over Zoom in 2020, so that's pretty exciting. And this is also home to our partnership with University of Washington Medical Center. We have a brand new building that'll be opening up next summer that'll be home for those for that partnership. So students in the University of Washington Medical School will actually be taking courses in the same building as some of our undergraduate students studying some of the pre-health sciences. And then our next school is the School of Business Administration. There's 4 different paths students can choose in the School of Business Administration. You can either do business administration, accounting, or a BA or a BS in economic studies. So what you would do, say you were interested in finance, you could come in, get a broad degree in business administration, and then choose from 11 different concentrations. And you can choose finance as one of those. Most students do 1 to 2, and those range in anything from sustainable business to HR, marketing, finance, economics, to really be able to tailor your degree. But the other really cool thing is even if you're not a business major, you can still minor in business. So there's 8 minors available to non-business majors. So if you were like me and you studied political science, but you kind of wanted to minor in general business, that's super doable. So there's 8, kind of that same range. So general business, HR, marketing, finance. One of my good friends majored in sociology, minored in general business and HR, and is now working at Amazon. So really able to tailor your degree. We also have 3 of our 4+1 programs that live here. So 4+1 is where students get your undergraduate degree in 4 years and stay for just 1 additional year to complete your either MBA or your master's. We have an MBA degree as well as master's in accountancy or taxation in this school. Our third school is our School of Education. So this is home to our future teachers. This is also home to our sport management program, as well as kinesiology and physical education. So students that are thinking for those pre-fitness careers, wanting to work for a sports team, be a physical trainer, things of that nature, this is where you would live. We get our students in the classroom, student teaching in their first couple years, which was to the benefit of many students. One of my good friends thought she wanted to teach 2nd grade, and student taught, loved it, and is now teaching 11th grade. So some really great experience kind of exposing the population that you really want to work with, that you'd be best working with too, and where you'd find the most success. And then the two schools at the bottom of the screen are direct admit programs. So every major at Gonzaga, minus engineering and nursing, you can just declare, you don't have to apply in. So engineering is our first of two direct admit schools. We look for 4 years of math, 4 of science, and to be college calculus ready. We have 4 types of engineering. So we have civil, electrical, mechanical, and computer engineering, as well as engineering management and computer science. So their senior year, our engineers will actually do a 9-month-long senior design project. City of Spokane approached our campus about 20 years ago and said that they wanted to put a bridge that connected our campus to downtown. So it was actually the senior design project of a group of our civil engineers to come up with a design for that bridge that was actually accepted by the City of Spokane and is now what we call the engineering bridge that connects our campus to downtown across the river. And our next step is School of Nursing and Human Physiology. So nursing is our second of 2 direct admit programs. It is also the only major at Gonzaga that is capped at a certain capacity, and that's to keep classes and clinical sizes small. Our nursing program has between 90 and 100 nurses each year, half of which will graduate in 8 semesters, half will graduate in 9. And this is designed so our nurses, if they want to study abroad or minor in something, they can choose that 9-semester track and still graduate on time. Human physiology is for students thinking pre-med, pre-health sciences, but with those pre-professional tracks, you can major in anything. They're designed to help you become a competitive applicant to any of those secondary schools. So we've sent theater schools on the pre-med track, theater majors on the pre-med track to med school. So you can really mix and match whatever you'd like with those pre-professional tracks. And then this is a snapshot of our community. So 4,800 strong in our undergrads. I absolutely love that number because that means we're just big enough to have D1 sports, so basketball, soccer, baseball, but we're small enough that our average class size sits only at 23. We are not a commuter campus, so 82% of students are coming from over 200 miles away, which means a full campus every Saturday morning of people to hang out with and do homework with. And we have 38 faiths represented, so we are a Catholic institution, but you by no means have to be Catholic to attend. And there's different prayer spaces for different religions and spiritualities in multiple buildings on our campus. We have about 63% of students that'll study abroad. And this is because we have 60 Gonzaga sponsored programs in 30 countries, which means that we have a tuition agreement with them. So if you study abroad in the fall or spring semester, it won't cost you any more to be in Spokane than it would to be in Washington, D.C., Italy, Spain, Ecuador, Turks and Caicos, Japan, China, wherever you'd like to go. And we only have one place to do the application and one deadline because the last couple of years have been absolutely crazy. So wanting to make the process as stress-free for you all. So deadline is December 1st. We're only on the common application and we are test optional. So I am the admission counselor reading for students in California, but we are all super open to having those conversations about test optional. So we're doing virtual and in-person tours and interviews. So any questions you have, I'll drop my email in the chat afterwards and we can connect and kind of chat about setting up a time or visiting campus. And 98% of our admitted students will receive financial aid with the average package coming out of Gonzaga sitting at about $33,000 per student. So that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll drop my name and email in the chat. And thank you so much. Go Zags.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, a reminder to all of our participants, if you have questions for any of our schools here tonight, feel free to use that Q&A function and they will answer your questions at any time. So feel free to go ahead and use that Q&A function. Up next, we have IE University.
Hola, hello everyone. My name is Micah Trubman and I am the Associate Director for IE University, which is one of the world's most international schools located in Spain. I'm also an alum from the school. I'm from California, didn't know any Spanish, decided to do something a little different. So always happy to connect and talk about my experience or help you with the application process or anything else. So a little bit about the school, if you haven't heard about it. I always like to talk about Spain because not everybody's traveled to Spain. It's an amazing country. I can talk for hours and hours about it, and I won't go too much into it, but Spain is the second most visited country in the world. Spanish is also the second most spoken language in the world. There's a lot of culture, history in Spain. You can think of Spain as the California of Europe. They've got amazing weather, some of the best weather in Europe. They've got amazing festivals, a vibrant nightlife, and so many amazing beaches as well. If you're a foodie, this is definitely a place to study. But a little bit about IE. If you're someone who's passionate for traveling, culture, language, diversity, sustainability, this is a great school for you. If you also have an interest in entrepreneurship, this is the school as well. IE University is located in Spain, like I mentioned, and we do have 2 campuses. They're about 30 minutes apart. We have our first campus, which is up on the right-hand corner, called in the city of Segovia. Our campus was built in 1218, so it's older than the US. It is protected by the United Nations because it's a World UNESCO site. If you're someone who loves mountains, being out in nature, kind of more in a rural setting, Segovia is a great place for you to study. And then our other campus will be in Madrid, which is the capital of Spain. Our new IE tower is the first and only high-rise university in all of Europe and the 3rd tallest university in the world. Of course, it's more urban. If you're a city person, this is also an amazing place to study. I studied in Madrid and absolutely loved it. And again, you don't need to speak any Spanish because Spain is incredibly international and diverse. And that leads me to my next point. IE University is one of the world's most international and diverse universities. We have over 75% of our students are coming from all over the world to study at IE. We've got over 140 nationalities on campus. There's over 45 languages spoken on campus, but we teach everything in English. Super, super important. And we also accept over or more than 50 different education systems. So that means if you're studying in Canada or Europe or the US or Mexico, wherever it is that you're coming from, we'll accept your diploma. So it makes it much easier to apply to a school in Europe. We keep our class sizes small, but just some facts and figures here. We do divide our schools or our university into schools. So we have a business school, a law school, global and public affairs, architecture and design, and human science and technology. And on the next slide, I'll list some of the programs that we have. We are highly ranked. We are the #1 school in Spain, top 10 in Europe, and top 20 worldwide. Some interesting facts or some figures, if you like those kinds of things. 95% of our students have a job within 6 months, and 43% of our students have a job in a different country than the one that they came from. IE, again, is globally known. So we have a lot of partnerships with a lot of top companies that you wouldn't know by name, whether that's Gucci, Heineken, Google, Disney, United Nations, and you actually have a lot of opportunity to work with them starting year 1 when you're studying with us. And I did mention that we're known for entrepreneurship. We were recently ranked the #1 entrepreneurial school in the world. We have kind of like a Shark Tank on campus. So investors can come listen to your pitches. You've got mentors to help you start your own companies, and more than 10% of our students actually graduate with their own companies. We've got a lot of technology instilled into a lot of what you're learning. Humanities, again, sustainability is really important to us, but everything at IE is incredibly practical and tied to the real world. So everything that you learn at IE is going to be something that you'll most likely find yourself doing in a job later on after you graduate. So here are some of our degrees. I just want to highlight a couple really popular ones. All of our dual degrees are always super popular. We have students that want to study one thing over the other, and it's a perfect fit. You know, if they want to study business and law, they can do so. So it's not like a major and a minor, you have 2 majors. For single degrees, business admin is probably our most popular degree, along with our law program, international relations, and comp sci with AI. With our law degree, we actually have a 3-2 program. So any Americans here who want to be a lawyer, we have a partnership with Northwestern. So you'll study at IE for 3 years, get your bachelor's in law, and then you'll transfer and get your JD done at Northwestern, be done in 5, and be a very young lawyer, which is unheard of even in the US. And the reason why we can do that is because we start your classes right away. So at IE, we really want you to build your own path, even if you're studying business, law, whatever it may be. We really want to give you as many opportunities to expose yourself in what in the world you can do with your degree. We do that through many electives, advanced seminars. Obviously, you can do a study abroad, internships, and labs. So labs are offered for first and second year students or on-campus internships with a lot of companies that you may know, maybe some that are small, some are big. And it's really to give you an idea of what you can do professionally, get experience, and see what you're interested in. Here's just a small snapshot of some labs that we have. Again, you can use your degree in any direction that you want to go in. If you're somebody who loves fashion, but you're studying law, you can mix that. And how can you mix that? It's kind of an interesting mix. To give you an example, we have over 160 partnered universities all over the world. Again, they're all top ranked. So if you want to do a study abroad, you can absolutely do that. As well as campus life, super vibrant, not just only with the Spanish culture and being able to go out and having siestas, but we definitely have many clubs, and they're growing every single year. It's absolutely insane. I don't want to go too deeply into the admissions process, but it's really easy to apply. We are on Common App. We do have our own website. We do take SATs or ACTs. If you can't take those, you can take our admissions test. You don't have to study for that at all in any way. It's more of an aptitude test. And we do a personal interview. We also offer financial aid. So please don't count us out if you think studying abroad is expensive. It's actually inexpensive. So that is definitely a myth that I would like to portray. If there's anything that you can take from this presentation, is that actually tends to be more affordable to study abroad. So we have scholarships after you get in and then before you get in. So you have scholarships even starting for 11th grade students. You can get an 80% scholarship to IE. 12th grade students, we have global challenges where you can get 50 to 100% covered. And then on average, most of our students have about a 65% scholarship. Of course, we offer accommodation. We've got something for every kind of lifestyle. If you're somebody who loves to cook, definitely renting a flat, as we say in Europe, or an apartment is probably something for you. If you're somebody who doesn't like to cook and you want to live in a dorm, definitely got the residences, and then host families, which is quite unique, something that you won't always find everywhere. But that's going to be it for me. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. I am here to help you, and I look forward to answering any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. And that's a great reminder to use that Q&A function if you do have questions for any of our universities here tonight. Up next, we have Whitworth University.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Just give me a moment. All right. Well, hi, everybody. It is so great to get to have this chance to sort of work with you and present to you this afternoon or this evening where I am. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about Whitworth University. And Whitworth, we sort of in a nutshell are a small private Christian liberal arts and sciences school in the same city as Gonzaga, which you heard about before in Spokane, Washington. But there's a lot more to us than that. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive in. So I think really the most important place to start, if there's just one place and one thing to know about Whitworth, is our mission. So every university has a mission. And at Whitworth, this is something that we talk about all the time. This mission is central to everything that we do. It's something everybody on campus knows, not because we make them memorize it, but because it is something that is such a present part of everyday life. So our mission is to give our diverse student body an education of the mind and heart to equip our graduates to honor God, follow Christ, and serve humanity. And it's short and sweet, but there's a lot packed in there, starting with the very beginning, where to give our diverse student body, we're in this mission that we talk about and think about daily. We're acknowledging and, sort of lifting up the importance of diversity in our student body and the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion as something we want to continue to support, build upon, and constantly think about as a campus community, so that we're truly supporting all of our students where they are and meeting them where they are when they start and helping them throughout all 4 years they are at Whitworth. That center part of the mission is the part that most people really know and think about a lot, and that's that education of the mind and heart. So it's really important to have that balance. We are known for being academically rigorous. We have great programs, which I'll talk about in a second, but we are very focused on that balance in life. And that applies to the application process, and that applies to your experience at Whitworth. So your out of classroom experience is going to be rich and vibrant. We want you to grow as a human so that you can become a change maker and serve humanity later on. And obviously, with that last part of our mission, we are a Christian university. I do like to mention, though, that there are lots of different kinds of Christian universities. So the way that Whitworth does that is that since 1890, when we were founded, we actually have never had a faith requirement for our students. So while many of our students certainly are Christian, almost as many students are not, and tell us that it's really valuable to them to meet people from really different backgrounds. And we want that. We want you to come to campus, have your ideas challenged so that you can better understand what you stand for and how to defend it, and how to do that within a really close-knit community like we have. As far as what our community looks like, we definitely are a small school, about 2,300 students. Small but not tiny. So there are definitely a lot of Christian schools much smaller than us, but we have a little bit more, which means a few more friends to make, a few more majors to choose from. But you still get that 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which is key because our faculty are every year ranked top 3 for best undergraduate teaching. So you're taking every class from a professor who is top ranked and who is there to teach you. So it's actually a tradition to take your professors out to coffee one-on-one every semester. And we call that the Dine with a Mind tradition. And it's a really important part of Whitworth. So those mentor relationships are a big part of your success rate later on. And here's just a sampling of our programs. We have over 100, which is pretty unusual for a school of our size. Most schools that are similar in size to us have about half that. So you can, if you want to learn more about any of these programs, I recommend going to that link because there are a lot of programs here. We are a liberal arts and sciences school. So regardless of what your major is, you're going to be taking lots of classes from across the spectrum, which helps you become a better communicator, become a better critical thinker, become a better problem solver. And that's something that is a really cherished part of the Whitworth experience as well. And then, of course, the heart part of the Whitworth experience. Student life, incredibly rich and vibrant at Whitworth. That applies to residential life, where everybody does live on campus for at least 2 years. And our residence halls are more than just a place you sleep. They actually have activities every single night, which are optional. But it means that there's always a place you can go to just connect with people, take a break from homework, meet new people, make friends, connect, do any of those things that you need to do to blow off steam at the end of the day. Huge number of clubs and intramurals. I mentioned at the beginning our value of diversity, and so that's really big in student life as far as activities go, as far as clubs, and our intercultural resource center, which is a great resource center for any students from underrepresented backgrounds on Whitworth's campus. Visual and performing arts are really large, in particular music and theater, because anyone can be involved even if you're not majoring or minoring, and that includes having a scholarship. And we're heavily investing in those programs. So we have a new music building that was built 4 years ago. We're in the process of hiring a brand new art professor for digital art and animation. And we also just renovated the theater 2 years ago. So a lot going on. But we also are well known for athletics. We are a Division III school, and we have won the last 12 consecutive all sports trophies, which have not been offered the last 2 years, in full disclosure because of the pandemic, but we're back in the swing of things and we'll see how it goes. But we are really proud of our athletics programs and how they also balance that mind and heart. So Whitworth is definitely a place where you can grow as an athlete and as a student as well. So just to quickly wrap up, we are in Spokane, and you heard a little bit about that from Gonzaga too. But if any of you have any questions, please let me know in the Q&A. And some quick things to highlight. Our application is free, and this year it's a choose your own adventure process. So we need your application, we need your transcript, but what else you submit is your choice. So if you want to write an essay and send a recommendation, great, but you don't have to. And we are happy to consider whatever you think is putting your best foot forward in the process. And what's really important to know is that 100% of students that are admitted to Whitworth get some kind of scholarship in financial aid. So even though we're a private university, we will work with you through this process. And this is a sampling of the scholarships we offer. So if you want more information about any of these, this link right here is really the best one to look at. But here are all of the many scholarships that you can be considered for. Some that are quite large, up to full tuition, some that are small, many in between. And I'm happy to send you more information about any of these if you have any questions. And if you do want more information, go ahead and scan that QR code if you're curious, and I'm going to put my contact information in the chat as well. But thank you all so much for chatting with me today, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Jenny.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. Last but not least, tonight we have Pacific Lutheran University.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much for having me today while I get my presentation up and running. I am looking forward to hearing your questions as we follow up. Almost there. Okay. All right. Well, my name is Natasha Lemke. I am the Assistant Director of Admission for Equity and Access here at Pacific Lutheran University. And that there is my contact information also located over here where you can see it on the screen. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have. Now, we are located in Parkland, Washington, which is also Tacoma, Washington. And we have lots of opportunities for you to get out and about. We are on the bus line here, so it's very easy to get to places such as our waterfront area here, which has been recently rebuilt. We've got a new theater down there. If you like sushi or pizza, there's lots of dining options. We're also not far from downtown Tacoma, where there's plenty of opportunities to visit museums and other fun things to check out. We are about a 45-minute drive from Seattle, depending on traffic, and also about a 30 to 35-minute drive to the state capitol if you are interested in getting into any legislative practices. And I like to get to the meat of things because I know that there's lots of times questions around applying. So we are free to apply. We are a Common App school, so you can just go onto the Common App, list us, and supply your high school transcript, a letter of recommendation, your essay, which you have the option of choosing a prompt or speaking directly to something specifically that you would like to write about. Of course, submitting the application, and then we are test score optional. So you do not need to submit your ACT or SAT scores in order to be admitted to PLU. We are on a rolling admission cycle, so we review applications on October 15th, November 15th, December 15th, and January 15th. And if you apply by October 15th, then the goal is we will have a decision to you within 4 weeks. So, and then you can still apply after January 15th. That is okay. We will still review those up until, until late in the year. We want to make sure that folks that are first generation that maybe don't know as much about applying also still have those opportunities to have their applications reviewed. And then we do accept most college credits. So you'd want to submit any college transcripts that you have, or if they're listed on your high school transcript, so that they can be reviewed as well. All right, and then here is about financial aid. So about 98% of our students do receive financial aid. We offer academic scholarships just upon review of your application, those range anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 per year. We do have some scholarship options that go up to full tuition, including if you are a college-bound student in Washington State and have a 3.3 or higher GPA, then we do have what's called the 253 PLU-bound scholarship, and that will cover full tuition. All right, and then also one of the nice things that we offer is what's called the PLU Pledge. So if you're a student that graduates from Pacific Lutheran University and you're not making $50,000 or more per year, then what we do is we, as long as you're making your loan payments on time and are working 30 hours or more a week, then PLU will actually kick you back a check at the end of each year to help cover the costs that you were paying into your school loans. So if you're making less than $30,000, it's on a sliding scale. So I believe that that is fully covered. You would receive a 100% reimbursement check from PLU. And so from there, that'll continue on until you've either paid off your loan or are making that $50,000 or more dollars. And that does cover the Parent Plus loans as well. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. So we are a smaller liberal arts college here in Tacoma, Washington. And so that means that we have about 2,900 students, meaning that your class sizes are going to be a lot smaller, which is great for students that are looking for that more intimate learning environment where they're able to work closely with faculty and get a full, robust experience in college. We do a weighted GPA. So if you're taking AP or IB courses, then we will actually bump your GPA up as we are going through and reviewing your application. At this point in time, we have about 40% students of color for our overall school population. However, this year we actually had about 51% of our incoming freshmen are students of color. So we intend to see those numbers increasing as time goes on. And then we're about a third of our students are first generation college students as well. All right, and then these are some of the academic programs that we offer. We have four schools. I'm sorry. We have School of Arts and Communication, School of Education and Kinesiology, School of Business, and School of Nursing. Our School of Nursing program is one of our most popular. We just recently had our simulation building. I guess it's all come to fruition. It's all here, and we are excited for our students to be able to engage with it. We also, School of Arts and Communication is a big one. Our music program and theater program, we do over 135 presentations throughout the year. And pardon me, it was a long day today. So thank you for joining me and being humble. All right, and then PLU research. So because we're a smaller school, our faculty will work closely with you as you are starting to build on your research and designing things that are important to you. So if you are interested in learning more about Mount Rainier and different sustainability opportunities, we are one of the closest universities to Mount Rainier. So you're able to do more of that on the grounds legwork. And then also we have some great opportunities for you if you're interested in internships. We have 64% of our students were able to get in on internships before COVID hit back in 2019. And then we also have some great opportunities for students to get linked up with alumni. COVID did kind of impact that in a positive way. We're able then to connect with folks that had graduated from PLU, but might be off in Australia now running businesses. So we're able to get you more and more connected to those alumni and all those networking opportunities. And then we do have 70+ clubs and organizations, which means that you have lots of opportunities to get to the fun side of school as well. So education and fun, it's about a full-blown college experience. And if for any reason you get to PLU and you don't quite see the club that you want to be a part of, then we often have students that will start their own clubs. So lots of options there. Oh, okay. And then we are a D3 school. So we have 12 division sports that students can participate in. We also offer intramurals and club sports as well. Ooh, excuse me. So we've got lots of competitive athletes and we are working on building the whole student athlete experience. So while we want you to be, of course, successful in your sport, we also want you to feel connected and build some leadership skills for when you graduate from PLU. All right. And then we do have 9 residence halls, and within those residence halls, we have themed learning communities. And that's those students that want to focus on things like gender and equity. They can focus on that in that space and work on initiatives that are built around that, as well as if students are first in the family and they want to be around students to have those shared experiences, they would fill out the form and then work with our residential life folks to get placed into those different dorms. And then also, PLU is very well known for its study away program. We were the first US university to have all of our faculty and staff, or not all of them, that would be phenomenal, but many of them studying on all 7 continents all at the same time. And over 50% of our students will study away in their time at PLU. What's great about our study away program is that if students are doing the Gateway program or the 4-month-long study away, then they are able to actually have that covered in their tuition costs. So they might be paying a little bit for airfare, things like that. But then we also have scholarships that students can apply for those. All right, and here is my information. If you have more questions, please come and visit us. We do offer a $1,000 visit scholarship that's renewable for 4 years as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of our panelists today. We have some time for some Q&A, so I'll invite everyone back on screen and I'll share our first question, and then we'll go in the same order as our presentation. So our first question for tonight is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? So what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? All right, we'll start with Sam.
I would say when you're going through the college search process, if you have the opportunity to visit the campus, really feeling the energy of the campus, and as much as like we all want to tell you the amazing things that our universities offer, it's so much more about your feeling of comfortability and how you fit at the school. So when you're on those campus tours, like, could you see yourself walking out of that res hall? Could you see yourself walking to class? And so really feel for the energy. I toured my school on a really icky weather day, and because of the energy and how comfortable I felt, that's how I knew that's where I wanted to go. But if you can't do that, connect with people that maybe went to your high school or that you know that went there, and kind of see like, what's the vibe of campus? What's the energy, to see if their values align with yours.
I guess I'll go next. So some advice that I would give is work with us as representatives. We are here to help you. I think there's some kind of, I don't know, negative connotation that we don't want to help you. We actually do. A lot of us went to this school, so we're even more excited to talk about our experience. And then in terms of organization, I highly, highly recommend making a Gmail account just for applying to colleges. So all of the communications are in one place. And then that way, when you're graduating, if you're getting communications from your high school and your email shut down, you're not missing any of those really important messages that tend to come over the summer. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, I agree with everything everyone has said, and I'm going to expand a little bit on the last one, which is definitely stay in communication with us, but that also comes to when you're making decisions. So I know that right now you're getting a ton of emails from colleges, and it's probably really overwhelming. Know that you can always click unsubscribe. And if you're truly not interested, we won't be offended. We want you to find the right place for you. And when it comes to the end, when you have made a decision, let all of us know that you are going somewhere else, so that we can, stop bugging you with emails and phone calls and turn our attention to the people who are really interested. And then you can fully turn your attention to your future university as well. And that will just kind of be a nice clean slate for you, and just be a nice burden off of your back as well. So just know that we are here to support you, and we're on your side. We want you to find the right place for you. And sometimes that might not be our university.
Yes, and I just want to add too that as you're doing your college research, keep like a file or a spreadsheet when you're visiting, because you might visit one school in October and another one in early December, and then you're like, oh, I don't remember what I loved about the last one. So keep those things that stood out to you in a spreadsheet so that you can review those while you're preparing to make your decision. And then one of the other biggest things I would say is to make sure that you're filing the FAFSA and the WASPA when those open, and not counting any schools out based on what you think you might be able to afford. Because the thing is, a lot of times us universities and colleges are working really hard to make sure that school is accessible for you. And so make sure that you're waiting until you get those financial aid awards back so that you can do a cross comparison of those two.
Absolutely. Thank you all for that advice. And Natasha, to your point, the FAFSA opened October 1st. So definitely make sure everyone that you're filling that out. All right. Our next question is, what is one thing you want students to remember about your school?
All right. So for Gonzaga, the one thing that I hope students take away from tonight is a saying we have on campus, and it's Zags help Zags. So there's stickers everywhere, and it's essentially just embodying the campus and community culture of like, we're here for each other. The big like meme of Gonzaga campus is like when you're holding a door open for someone and they're just far enough away that you're not like socially obligated to hold open the door, but you do it anyway. And then they hustle in and say thank you. Like, your colleagues and your friends are going to hold the door open for you, and metaphorically and physically, and everybody's going through the same thing at the same time. So Zags help Zags, and Zags are here for each other.
I love that. I'm going to speak more on like a personal experience, but it's very IE is when you're in Europe, it's really accessible to travel between country to country. And a lot of your classmates are also from those countries. So there's a lot of traveling involved, and it's really, really inexpensive once you're there. There's Airbnb, which could be like 20 euros or $20 to fly to France, and then you stay with a friend. So there's a lot of opportunity to learn about different cultures, different countries, not just when you're on campus with your friends, but also visiting their families and learning from them around a plate of food or something that they make. So I'd say if traveling is something that you really want to get into, or you already have been able to travel, that this would be the school to check out for sure.
Awesome. Those both sound great. I would say, one thing to really remember about Whitworth is our community. I talked a little bit about it, but just to kind of re-emphasize that, it's a buzzword that a lot of colleges use, but it's definitely something that the first time I ever visited Whitworth, I stepped out of the car, and before I ever talked to anybody, I felt it. It's warm, it's tangible, it's friendly, and that's something that I didn't have at other places when I had visited. And that's, something that's going to vary from person to person, but when I talk to a lot of students, they have a very similar experience to my experience at Whitworth. And I actually got lost, and two students who were not walking together at all converged upon me and insisted on walking me where I needed to go. And they're just so friendly, so kind. It's just very, I think maybe some Spokane thing going on here too with Gonzaga, like Zags help Zags. Whitworth, people are so friendly and so supportive of each other. So it's a really lovely place to be for that.
Thank you all for sharing those things. It made me think of, we have this thing where it's Lute's open door. So to your point, Sam, yes, the holding a door thing is a real deal. So, if you always have your hands full, be expectant that someone's going to open a door for you. And the other thing I would say is that, at PLU, we expect for you to come in as your whole imperfect self. We don't expect you to come in and be this, stigmatized version of yourself. We want you to come in as you are, and to be prepared to share yourself with others in terms of, we're very globally focused, and being liberal arts school, we also want to make sure that we're having these very dynamic conversations, and we can't do that with you if you're someone else. So expect to come in as your whole and perfect self, and to be loved and cared for at PLU.
I love that. I'm excited. I want to visit all of your institutions. They sound fantastic. Our last question of the night, we only have a couple minutes, so we'll do a quick little speed round, but our last question of the night will be, what is one myth you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process?
All right, so the first thing that came to my mind, it was kind of already touched on, that admission counselors are not always like there to help you, but that's exactly what we're here to do. And if this school you're interested in offers interviews, answer those questions honestly, because we ask those to know how to help you best. So if our school is where you want to go, we want to help make that happen. So talk to your admission counselor, build a relationship with them, because then when it comes to application season, they've put a face to a name and a story to a transcript, and just know that like we were in your shoes at some point. So there's no such thing as a stupid question, and there's no such thing as too many questions, because we've had all of the exact same ones.
Totally, 100%. If there's anything that I would say myth-wise is, I think there's the perception that studying abroad is really expensive. I think I mentioned it in the beginning, and it's really not. If you look at Spain, the cost of a coffee is $1, and it's amazing coffee. So your living costs, that dollar goes so much further, even like rent and a phone bill and everything. But the amount of travel that you get is also affordable, and then tuition. And there is a lot of financial aid and scholarships for students who are looking abroad, because I think everyone, especially during this pandemic, has realized how globalized we are, and it's probably really important that we all connect and learn from each other and yeah, to move on. So I would say apply to an international school, or at least look at them. And if you don't feel like you're ready, that's totally okay. Do a study abroad if you can as well, which I highly recommend too.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think the other thing I will say is there's, myth that you're not going to get into college, or that it's really hard to get into college, because the media has this kind of obsession with the very small number of schools who accept a very small number of people. But the vast majority of universities, especially in the US, and I think also, I don't know as much about abroad, but I think it's similar, vast majority of universities in the US accept well over half their applicants. You will find somewhere. You will find a home, especially if you're really thinking carefully in your application process. There is a place for you, and we want to help you get there. So I know this is a really stressful time if you're a senior, if you're working with students and you're trying to get them to work through this, but they will find somewhere. We are, most of us, in the business of trying to find a reason to admit you rather than trying to find a reason to deny you.
And speaking to that point, Ruth, something that comes to mind for me in these current times, and some of, I think, the anxieties that I'm seeing students coming in with, is that I had a rough quarter. And so I'm not going to be able to get into any of these schools now. And the thing is, we understand that there's been a lot going on, especially within these last couple of years. And so the best thing to do at that point is to share a little bit of that in your essay, if you're comfortable, because many of us, we're not just looking at your GPA. We're not just looking at your test scores if you send them in. We're looking at you as the whole student. And so for us, it's important for us to know, like, oh, you recognize that you had a rough quarter and you talked about that. And oh, wow, now look, now your grades are getting better, and we can see that you're coming out of that slump that you were in. So just don't be afraid to be transparent. In the same breath, make sure you're having your essays reviewed, peer reviewed by your friends, your mom, read it to your dog, like whatever works for you. Just make sure that you have multiple eyes on it so that you feel really good by the time you submit it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for those great answers. And thank you, participants, for being here with us today. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. And you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other sessions recordings from tonight, at strivescan.com/college essay guide. That's strivescan.com/college essay guide. Thank you. Have a good evening.